that? Stay in line. Shields! Raise shields! Hold! For the guards! Push!
Imagine marching through a dark, endless forest in perfect Roman formation, convinced that no army on earth can touch you. And then the trees start screaming. In the year 9 AD, 3 Roman legions entered the Teutoburg Forest, led by a man they thought was their ally, Arminius. What they didn't know is that he had united the Germanic tribes and built a killing ground out of mud, trees, and rain. Over a few days of horror, Rome didn't just lose an army. It lost the illusion that its power had no limits. Before the forest closed around them, before the rain turned the roads to rivers of mud, before 3 eagles vanished into the trees, Rome felt untouchable. At the start of the 1st century AD, the Roman Empire is a machine that seems built to win forever. In the south, it owns the entire Mediterranean shoreline. In the east, it pushes into ancient kingdoms with roads, legions, and tax collectors. In the west, it has swallowed Gaul and is staring across the Channel at Britain. On every frontier, the same pattern repeats. Scouts and traders go first. Local tribes become friends of Rome. Soldiers arrive to keep the peace. Forts become towns. Towns become provinces. In marble halls far away, senators and emperors talk about Germania, the lands beyond the Rhine, as just another space on the map waiting to be absorbed. They don't talk about whether Rome can take it, only how fast. On the northern frontier, the Rhine River is supposed to be a border. On one side, Roman forts, stone, watchtowers, marching camps and supply depots, towns that smell of wine, olive oil, and wet leather armor. On the other, forests, swamps, and low hills, villages of wood and thatch, tribes with names that sound like threats in a Roman officer's mouth. Cherushi, Bructeri, Chatti. To many Romans, Germans are a type, not a people. Tall, pale, wild hair, good with spears and ambushes. Brave but undisciplined, useful as auxiliaries. Dangerous as enemies, but not, in Roman eyes, a serious match for a legion. One legion is around 5,000 men. In Germania, Rome stations several, plus cavalry, archers, engineers, and allied tribal units. From a distance, it looks like a steel wall along the river. Behind that wall, Roman governors make plans. To administer this raw, half-digested frontier, Rome sends a man with an impeccable resume. Publius Quinctilius Varus. He has governed provinces before. He knows how to raise taxes, enforce Roman law, build roads and courts, civilize conquered peoples. To the imperial court, he is a safe pair of hands. To the Germans, he is something else. A man who doesn't understand that their world is not Italy with worse weather. Varus arrives in Germania with the attitude of someone who expects obedience as a default. He sets up courts where locals are expected to settle disputes the Roman way. Tax collectors who demand coin and grain from people more used to tribute in cattle and favor. Garrisons that look permanent, not temporary. Each decree makes sense in a Roman mind. We conquered this place. Now it will function like a Roman province. Each decree feels very different to the tribes whose land is now dotted with Roman camps. Among the Germans, one man seems to be exactly what Rome wants. Arminius, born into the Cherushi, a Germanic tribe, taken or sent to Rome as a young man, raised partly inside the empire. He learns Latin. He studies Roman tactics. He fights with Roman legions in other campaigns and earns citizenship and rank. By the time he returns to Germania, he wears a Roman officer's armor, a Roman name on official documents, a Roman trust he has worked hard to cultivate. To Varus and his staff, Arminius is priceless. He knows the local languages. He knows the terrain. He knows which chiefs are proud, which are greedy, which are scared. Officially, he is an ally. Unofficially, he is a bridge between two worlds. He eats at Roman tables, laughs with Roman officers, rides in Roman councils. And when he goes home, he hears his own people talk about Roman rule as something that chokes them. Stand for a moment on a hill above the Rhine and listen. If you stand among the Romans, you hear legionaries joking that German forests are boring compared to Eastern wars. Officers complaining more about the weather than the enemy. Administrators telling each other that once a few more forts are built and a few more treaties signed, this whole region will settle down. The story they tell themselves is simple. We are bringing order. Resistance is just noise. If you stand among the Germanic villages, you hear something very different. Old men remembering days before Roman forts, when their chief's word was law on their own land. Warriors grumbling about Roman judges who don't understand their customs. Families tightening their belts because new taxes bite deep. The story they tell each other is darker. These people come, they build, they take, and they never leave. Arminius walks between these two stories every day. He knows how confident the Romans are. He knows how angry his people are. Somewhere between those two truths, an idea begins to form. What if he stops being a bridge and becomes a trap? In the late summer of the year 9 AD, Varus prepares to move his forces. The season of campaigning is ending. Legions must march back toward their winter quarters along the Rhine. Varus, confident and in no hurry, decides to combine tasks. Move 3 legions and their support units. Show the flag in the interior. Handle a reported local disturbance on the way. It's the kind of multitasking a Roman governor does without thinking. 3 legions, 17th, 18th, 19th, around 20,000 legionaries, plus cavalry, camp followers, families, servants, animals, wagons. An entire moving town of Rome in armor, stretching along muddy forest tracks. Arminius rides with them as a guide and scout. He suggests a route. Through the woods, away from the wider, safer roads. He explains, it will be faster. The disturbance is local and minor. The tribes are cowed. No one would dare strike at the full weight of Rome. Varus believes him. Why wouldn't he? Rome has never been truly defeated by barbarians in this way. Not out here. Not yet. So the order goes out. The eagles are lifted. The columns begin to move, step by step, into the Teutoburg Forest. A landscape that will swallow not just 3 legions, but the idea that Rome's borders can expand forever without cost. At first, it doesn't look like a death march. It just looks annoying. The Teutoburg Forest is not a pretty postcard forest. It's thick, wet, and hostile. Trees packed close together, underbrush grabbing at legs and wheels, slopes that tilt just enough to make wagons groan. To the Roman legions, used to broad roads and open fields, this feels like an insult to their dignity, but not a threat. The 3 legions under Varus don't move as a tight, perfect block of soldiers. They move like a living snake across the landscape. At the front, scouts, engineers, and some cavalry behind them, blocks of infantry in marching order. Mixed throughout, wagons, pack animals, camp followers, servants, blacksmiths, slaves. At the back, more infantry, rear guard, stragglers. In ideal conditions, a Roman commander can keep the column compact, leave space to form up into battle lines if attacked. Use cavalry to screen the flanks. In the Teutoburg Forest, the track narrows to a muddy tunnel between trees. The ground is uneven, boggy in places. Cavalry can't fan out properly. Units are stretched, broken by obstacles, out of sight of each other. Imagine trying to defend a long, twisting line where you can't see the front from the center. You can't see the rear from the front. And the woods on either side are dark and deep. If something hits the column in the middle, the front may not even know it's happening until the disaster reaches them. As they push deeper into the forest, the sky decides to join the enemy. Rain starts, not a polite drizzle, a steady soaking fall that turns dust into slime, makes cloaks heavy and cold, turns the track into a sliding trench of mud. Wagon wheels sink. Oxen and mules struggle to pull. Soldiers lose their footing, curses mixing with grunts. Shields become slick. Bowstrings hate moisture. Every piece of kit gets heavier, every step more tiring. If the column had been on open ground, they could have halted, regrouped, built a proper camp, sent cavalry to scout alternate routes, formed lines on a hill to secure the night in the forest. With the rain pounding on leaves and helmets, everything becomes just keep moving. Up near the front, Arminius rides with Roman officers. He points out features of the landscape, talks about the rebellious tribes they're supposedly moving to intimidate. Then he makes a request that, on any normal day, would sound perfectly reasonable. He wants to go ahead with the Germanic auxiliaries to scout the route, calm any restless locals, ensure there are no ambushes. A Roman governor in friendly territories sees no problem. Varus agrees. Arminius and his men melt into the trees ahead. The legions trudge on. At some point, someone in the column realizes, we haven't seen Arminius in a while. But by then, it's too late. It doesn't start with a trumpet. It starts with noise. A sudden crash of something heavy in the underbrush. The whir of spears and javelins slicing through wet air. The roar of voices shouting in a language most legionaries don't understand. Then the impact. Spears slam into marching men, punching through cloaks and armor. Javelins hit oxen, sending wagons careening sideways. Arrows and slingshot stones rain down from angles the Romans can't see. The attack comes not from a neat enemy line, but from everywhere. Legionaries stumble, trying to raise shields. But in a marching column, they aren't in proper formation. Some have their shields slung or lowered, carry baggage or tools instead of weapons, are separated from their officers by wagons and animals. The veterans react on instinct. Form up, shields together. But there's no space. On one side, mud and trees. On the other, more mud and trees. In front and behind, their own people, shouting, panicking, falling. The attackers know exactly what they're doing. These are Germanic warriors who grew up in these woods, know every hollow, ridge, and bog, have chosen this ground for years while planning this moment. Arminius has not just betrayed Rome. He has designed a killing ground. From concealed ditches, behind fallen trunks, in hastily built earthen walls, the tribes unleash wave after wave of missiles. Spears, javelins, stones from slings. Whenever a Roman unit tries to charge into the trees, they find the ground treacherous, the enemy already pulling back, themselves exposed to fresh missiles from another angle. The forest breaks all the things the legion is good at. Tight formation, coordinated maneuvers, mutual shield protection. Instead of a wall, the Romans are now a chain, and the enemy is chopping at every link at the same time. Varus and his officers know one thing for sure. If they keep marching like this, the column will be shredded. The standard Roman response in hostile territory is halt. Find the best ground available. Throw up a temporary camp, a square or rectangle with ditches and ramparts. Fight the enemy from behind fortifications, where Roman discipline shines. But here, the rain is relentless. The ground is boggy and unstable. The enemy is pressing, harassing, never giving them time to breathe. They try anyway. Units peel off to form makeshift defensive lines. Engineers start digging, hands slipping in the mud. Men stagger into a rough perimeter, shields up, spears out. It's not the textbook Roman camp. It's a damp, messy ring of desperation. The day ends not with victory, but with the legions huddled in a half-finished fort, surrounded by trees that feel closer with every gust of wind. Night in the Teutoburg Forest is thick. The rain eases, then returns. The fires gutter and smoke. Inside the broken camp, wounded men moan in the dark. Equipment lies scattered and muddy. Officers try to impose order, posting guards, rearranging units, issuing rations. But food is low. Morale is lower. Everyone knows the enemy is out there. And unlike the Romans, they are home in this terrain. Between the crackle of wet wood and the drip of rain, men hear distant horns, the occasional shout in Germanic tongues, the sound of axes hacking at wood, the enemy preparing more obstacles, more traps, more cover for the next day. Varus has a choice: stay in place, hoping for relief that isn't coming, or try to break out and reach open country. He chooses to move. At first light, the camp is abandoned. The dead are buried in shallow, rushed graves, or left where they fell. The column reforms, shorter now, more ragged, but still carrying the eagles, the golden standards of the legions. Those eagles are more than metal. They are symbols of Rome's honor, rally points in battle, objects men will die to protect. For now, they still shine. The legions push on, trying to reach higher, drier ground. The rain returns. The attacks return. This time, the Germans press even closer, hurling javelins at near point-blank range, darting in with spears and axes when they see a gap, vanishing back into the trees when Romans try to counterattack every hour. More wagons are abandoned. More supplies are lost in the mud. More men fall, exhausted or bleeding. Every decision Varus makes now is a choice between bad and worse. There's a moment, not recorded in any neat official source, that must have happened inside thousands of Roman minds. We might not be getting out of this. Not, this is hard. But this could be the end. Legionaries who have marched from one end of the empire to the other, who've watched enemies break and run at the sight of their shields, are now being harassed, bled broken, apart by people they were taught to see as inferior. They look around and see no open field to form a line, no clear enemy formation to shatter, just trees, mud, rain, and death from the shadows. The Teutoburg Forest has become a giant green vice, and every hour it tightens. By the third day, it's not really an army anymore. It's a herd of exhausted men wrapped around 3 pieces of gold. The eagles of the 17th, 18th, and 19th legions still rise above the mess, battered, mud-splattered, but visible. As long as those eagles are there, some part of every legionary believes Rome itself is watching. The forest is watching too. The path the column is forced onto now isn't truly a road. It's a chute. To one side, a steep, forested slope where trees crowd together and the ground is treacherous. To the other, a boggy lowland, sucking at boots and wheels, impossible for heavy armor and shields. Along the higher ground, unseen behind earthworks and felled trees, Arminius's warriors wait. They've spent days cutting makeshift ramparts along the ridge, preparing piles of spears and javelins, studying exactly where the Romans will have to pass. The legions enter the narrow stretch. There is nowhere to spread out, nowhere to form a proper line, nowhere to run that is not worse. It's the perfect place for a final blow. The attack this time is not just harassing fire, it's a crushing wave. From the ramparts above, Germans hurl spears and javelins with deadly accuracy into the tightest clusters of men, at officers whose crests mark them out. At the men carrying standards, Romans fall, pinned where they stand. The survivors try to surge up the slope, but their armor drags them down. The mud slips underfoot. The enemy simply backs away, then rains missiles on them again as they slide. From the boggy side, some Germans wade in with lighter gear, darting forward to finish the wounded with spears and axes before slipping back out of reach. There is no clear enemy line to break, only endless points of pain stabbing in from every direction. Somewhere in the chaos, rides Varus. The governor who once worried about tax ledgers is now watching an entire imperial investment bleed out around him. He's wounded. Accounts differ how badly. But the real wound is in his understanding. His scouts never truly saw the enemy. His ally, Arminius, has not just vanished. He has orchestrated this. There will be no neat retreat, no regrouping, no heroic last stand on high ground. He knows. If captured, he will not be treated as a normal prisoner. A Roman governor responsible for 3 lost legions in the hands of men he tried to rule. His future is torture, humiliation, and display. For a Roman of his rank, that is worse than death. So Varus makes the last decision he will ever make as Rome's representative in Germania. He falls on his sword. Near him, some senior officers do the same, choosing control over their deaths in a place where they have lost control of everything else. The legions see their leaders die. But there is no time to grieve, only to survive a few more minutes. As the Roman line disintegrates, the eagles become magnets for horror. Around each standard, the best remaining troops gather on instinct. They form desperate knots of resistance, tiny fortresses in a sea of chaos. Germanic warriors know exactly how much these symbols mean. To take an eagle is to break a legion's pride, spit in Rome's face, earn eternal glory in their people's songs. They hammer at the shrinking circles of defenders, spears thrust between shields, axes swing at exposed limbs, rocks and javelins rain from above. One by one, the circles close inward. In the mud and blood at the bottom of some trampled hollow, a standard-bearer realizes he cannot hold. Some eagles are hidden, buried beneath bodies and earth in a last attempt to deny them to the enemy. Carried off by a final doomed dash that ends in a German spear. But in the end, the forest of Teutoburg sees something it has never seen before. Roman eagles, torn from Roman hands. To the surviving Germans, it's proof that Rome can bleed. To the few surviving Romans, it's a sight they will never forget for as long as they live. However long that is. For the bulk of the legions, there is no clean, "we surrender" moment. There is only small groups cut off and overwhelmed, men drowning in bogs as they try to flee, wounded finished where they lie. Some are captured alive. Their fate is not mercy. Some will be sacrificed to the gods in grim forest rites. Others will be enslaved, living as living trophies in distant villages. A few, scattered and broken, will wander for years before stumbling back into Roman lands with stories no one wants to believe at first. But most never leave the forest. The 17th, 18th, and 19th legions do not retreat. They disappear. 3-unit numbers wiped from the Roman order of battle. Tens of thousands of men replaced by nothing but a story whispered under trees heavy with rain. When the killing finally stops, the forest is a graveyard. Broken shields half buried in mud, bent swords and snapped spear shafts, horses and oxen rotting where they fell. Bodies, so many bodies, that the land itself seems made of armor and flesh. For Arminius and the Germanic alliance, this is a revenge for years of humiliation, a warning to any future Roman commander, a proof to their own people that the empire can be hurt. For Rome, when the news finally crosses the Rhine, it will feel like an earthquake. The next chapter begins not in the forest, but in marble halls, where an emperor hears that 3 legions are gone and asks a question that will haunt Roman policy for decades. How did we let this happen? In the imperial palaces, far from the dripping branches of Teutoburg, Rome is used to bad news. Border wars, small defeats, rebellious towns, these are the background noise of empire. What arrives from Germania is not background noise, it's a scream. When the scale of the disaster reaches Emperor Augustus, he is not young anymore. He has won civil wars, turned the ruins of the Republic into an empire, ruled long enough to believe he understands the limits of chaos. Then he hears 3 legions destroyed, their eagles lost or missing, their governor dead by his own hand. Germania beyond the Rhine, no longer a half-tamed frontier, but a hostile wilderness again. According to later accounts, Augustus walks the halls of his palace crying, "Quinctilius Varus, legions rede. Varus, give me back my legions." He doesn't mean, bring them home. He means, tell me this didn't happen. But it did. On maps in Roman offices, Germania changes color. Before, it was a zone being steadily absorbed. Another Gaul, just with more trees. After, it's a wound. A place where the idea of Roman invincibility went to die. The practical responses start quickly. Reinforcements are rushed to the Rhine. Command in the region is given to harder, more experienced generals. Forts and camps on the Roman side of the river are strengthened. There are punitive expeditions too. Later, under Germanicus, Roman forces will push back into the Teutoburg area. They'll find bones whitening in the open air, skulls nailed to trees, the remains of altars where captured Romans were sacrificed. They will recover at least some of the lost eagles. On a tactical level, Rome shows it can still strike deep, still burn villages, still punish. But strategically, something has shifted. After Teutoburg, Rome stops trying seriously to turn all of Germania into another province. Instead, it does something out of character. It accepts a limit. The Rhine, and further south, the Danube, solidify into long-term frontiers. On the Roman side, roads, cities, legionary bases, law. On the other, forest, tribal confederations, shifting alliances. The dream of pushing the boundary of civilization endlessly outward shrinks a little. We will hold here. It's not a surrender, it's a recalibration. But in the psychology of an empire that has grown by always moving forward, it's enormous. For your viewers, this is the key. Rome loses more than men at Teutoburg. It loses the illusion that there is no place it cannot bend to its will. Among the Germanic peoples, the name Arminius becomes synonymous with cunning and courage. To Rome, he is a traitor, a man who took Roman trust, training and rank, then turned it into a weapon. A reminder that the most dangerous enemies are the ones who know your system from the inside. To later German nationalists, centuries and millennia later, he will be reshaped into Hermann, a founding hero of resistance to Rome. The real man unites tribes that normally fight each other, delivers the most shocking defeat of Augustus' reign, proves that Roman arrogance can be exploited. His victory is not perfect. Germanic unity doesn't last. Internal rivalries and Roman counter-moves eventually lead to his death. But he has already achieved what most rebel leaders only dream of. He changed what the empire believes about itself. The Teutoburg Forest never becomes a Roman city. There is no forum there, no marble temple to Jupiter, no straight Roman road cutting through the trees. Instead, it becomes a warning in every future general's mind. Don't underestimate terrain. Don't stretch your forces where they can't support each other. Don't trust that fear alone will hold conquered peoples forever. And never forget that a loyal local ally might be drawing your map straight into his own ambush. For IronSight Warfare, this battle isn't just a cool Rome lost once story. It's another piece in the same pattern you've been building. At Megiddo, a risky road wins a kingdom its first recorded victory. At Kadesh, a pharaoh barely escapes the trap he walked into. In the wars of Sumer vs. Elam, the first cities learn they can burn. At Muye, an army turns on its own king and ends a dynasty. In the Teutoburg Forest, an empire learns that even its legions can vanish into the trees. The message is always the same, in different armor. Power that forgets its limits eventually meets someone who is willing to teach it. And sometimes, that teacher isn't another empire. It's a forest, a storm, and a man your reports still call friend on the day he destroys you.